So the quarantine quickie scheme was a total bust. I've been clicking on or typing in quarantine quickie every morning, and there are just hundreds of them being posted every hour. And when I've got in there, I've tried to find certain topics, and there's just no way it would happen. So thank you for the heads up. So what I'm going to be doing is putting out videos the same. They'll be quick and quite a bit more often. And what I'm going to do is just down in the corner here, or the corner here, put just QQ and the number. So there'll be a series. If you don't look at them for a few days or whatever, when you see one, you'll know where you're at in the series. So if you see number 5, but the last one you saw was number 2, you know you got to go back and catch up with 2. So that's it. Let's get on with quickie number 1. Hello YouTube. Jerry Kirkpatrick here, and this is my first of hopefully many quarantine quickies. And one of my very most watched videos here on YouTube is using flat washers on a bead roller. So this video is going to be on the different profiles that I have put on different flat washers to get different shapes in sheet metal. So let's get in close and I'll show you what some of these flat washers look like up close. So here's all the flat washers that I've either filed or ground or turned on the lathe to get a different profile. And as you can see, it's just a standard 3/4 inch flat washer that gives me the right OD. They have to be drilled to 7/8, which is the shaft diameter on the Harbor Freight bead roller, and I just buy them by the box. They're cheap. I can't remember how much I pay. Oh well, here it is, 75 cents each, $9.99 for 10 of them. I guess there's in there. Oh no, 20 of them for $10. So there you go. They're cheap enough. Buy them by the box, because as you make a couple of them, then you'll want to see what the next profile is that you're going to want to produce. And a lot of them, you can see they're different colors, so they're kind of a match. Don't be afraid to even stack up 3 of them. That'll give you a much wider die. As you can see here, right at the top of each of them, I've welded on a piece of 1/8 by 1/4 flat stock that I've radiused the one edge to match the inside radius. I put this in the keyway that I've milled on the shaft, slide the flat washer over it, and then just weld it up. You will see that in the video, the kick plates number 2, where I make a die to make the Pontiac sill plates. You'll see me welding this onto a different die that I made. So these two and these two go together, and there is one constant radius on each of them, and by having a set like this, I can use a set on the bottom with the radius on the outside, or I can turn them around and then have a sharp edge on the outside. And then I can use the radius on the inside to give me one profile. Turn these around, and by spreading those apart and using a single radius on the inside and a sharp edge on the outside, that really makes a different look, even if it's the same width apart. I can get 4 different profiles just by switching those inside or outside. This one here, it has a slight radius on this one side and then a slight bevel and radius here. So this is not a constant radius. And with this one also, I can put it up against here and change the radius of each offset that I get. I can either have it sharp on that way, I can turn this around and have a shallow taper on one side. This one here is a constant radius all the way, so I can use the larger radius on one side and put this on one side or the other, and it changes the profile of a bead. This one here is actually, I turned it on the lathe. It's a little more than 45 degrees, and there's a sharp edge right in the center, and then I took a file and softened that so I don't cut into the material that I'm trying to form. And then this one here is basically the same thing, but I left it sharp. And I've only used this once. In fact, I used this the first time and I didn't like the line that it left, but I thought maybe doing a different project I might like that, so I went ahead and made another one and softened the edge. So those two are basically the same profile, one with a softened edge and one still sharp. So there you have it. See you in the next quarantine quickie, and I'll mount these on my bead roller and show you some different profiles that can be produced just by, what do we got, 2, 4, 6, 8 flat washers. So there you have it. That's different combinations of the flats and curves and such. Really enhances your bead roller. Can give you a multitude of different shapes that you can obtain just by using flat washers, and that is exactly what my next video will be. I'm going to mount these up on the bead roller in different combinations and run a piece of metal through there, and you can look at the edge of the sheet metal and see exactly what the profile looks like. So see you in Quarantine Quickie number 2.